So look, if you want to grow your wealth, your income, and increase the amount of time off, then these are the shortcuts that can help. Welcome to the Wealth Creation Podcast. And good morning, everybody. It's Dan Latto, and welcome to podcast 250. Can you believe we've actually recorded 250 podcasts? It's just phenomenal. And actually, when I looked at yesterday's download figures, yesterday was yet again another record day for downloading podcasts. So the more you do, the more you get. It's really awesome. Very happy about the results of recording a podcast. It becomes almost like a daily ritual for me now. Shower, coffee, and podcast. Not all at the same time because that would just get messy. But thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading all the podcasts. And that's it for today. No, I'm joking. So in today's podcast, we're going to talk about should you live for today or should you plan for your future? And one of the things I've had this iPad. I know you can't see it, but I've had this iPad for quite some time. And about 5 years, actually. And I've never reset it. And I do remember writing down my perfect day. And when I look back at what I wrote down versus what I'm living today, it's not bad. So, going back 5 years ago, I need more coffee. Going back 5 years ago, life was very different. We lived in the UK still. We'd not moved yet. We didn't move until, when did we move? We moved in, I don't know when it was, September. Had we decided by now, start of April? I think wifey was maybe having, this is in September. Actually, I wrote this in Turkey, but actually, I think this is older than 2014 because it's saying September 2014. And in September 2014, we just moved, actually, when I'd written this. Yeah. So anyway, but I want to just go through. There was a comment made on my post yesterday, and it was something to do about living in the future and planning for the future. And somebody said, "Oh no, just live for today," and it sent a cold shiver down my back and down my arms because it made me cringe because I thought, "Gosh, people really think you should just live for today." And there's a saying, and I'm sure you've heard this if you've ever been on sales training or considered sales training. What if we train our staff and they leave? And the guy looks back and goes, well, even worse, what if we don't train our staff and they don't leave? So what if you don't train their staff and they stay in your business? It's like you've now got a business going into the future with people who are untrained. And it's exactly the same for you. You might get knocked down by a bus tomorrow. Well, what if I don't get knocked down by a bus? What if nothing bad happens to me? What if I live to the ripe old age of 111? And what? Like in today's society, you're going to be working until you're 80 years old at B&Q? And then what are you going to do for the next 30 years? You're going to live on a state pension, 70 quid a week? I don't even know what state pension is, but it's not a lot. How does that work? What if you don't plan ahead and you do live for today, but then you live for the rest of your life until you're into old age? That's going to cause you a massive, massive problem. And, touch wood, we'll get through. We don't know what's coming. The government might say, just change something around completely tax-wise. Interest rates might go up to 15%. If any of that happened, we would go under. Do you know what I mean? But why would you not plan ahead for your future? Good morning, Andy. It just doesn't make sense to me why you wouldn't plan ahead. Well, live for today. What, every single day you're going to live for the day? You're going to wake up and, go cliff jumping every single day? Zero time for planning. I know where the comment came from, by the way. It came from some new research that came out and it was a follow-up to The Millionaire Next Door, which if you've not read that book, you should read that book. It talked about millionaires being not your usual Ferrari driving millionaires, but millionaires who are very frugal, they live in the same house, who don't spend a lot on clothes, that kind of thing. And actually on paper and cash in bank, I guess, they've got £1 million. By the way, if you've got £1 million in the bank, you're an idiot anyway. What the hell are you doing with £1 million? Unless you're a billionaire, and they just come through every day. But if you've got £1 million in the bank, I remember a comment on, we're having a go at one of the property guys on one of the forums, which I enjoy just for the comments because it gives me inspiration not to be like them. And they were saying, well, I'll believe he's a millionaire when I see his bank account with £1 million in it. And I thought, you idiot. That's why you'll never be a millionaire, because millionaires don't have millions of pounds of money in their bank account because it's invested at 16% returns. It just doesn't make sense to me why people think like that, but it's because we're uneducated. And that's part of my job, is to help people understand that there's a different way forward. So what if you don't die tomorrow? What if you don't get knocked down by a bus? What if you're going to live until your ripe old age? What are you going to do? So that's why you've got to start planning. But let me just go through my perfect day. So I wrote this. According to this, it says 2014, but we were in Turkey. I got to say this is 6 or 7 years old. 2011 probably. Yeah. Okay. 8:30. Wake up naturally. Whatever time seems right. It doesn't say wake up, have coffee, do a podcast. I'm not very close on that one. Anyway, 8:30 to 9. Wake up naturally at whatever time seems right and grab a shower. After my shower, dress in shorts and t-shirt, as it's another beautiful sunny day, which it is. This is the beauty, by the way, of planning ahead. Should you live for the day or should you plan ahead? Well, the answer is both, obviously, because at least now, because I planned all this, now I can wake up and live for the day, rather than waking up in Leeds and it's snowing, it's freezing cold, it's raining, it's grey, everyone's stuck in traffic, everyone's grumpy. You go to the coffee shop, it takes you half an hour to get there because you're stuck in traffic. You get there, everyone's grumpy, cold, freezing, everything's grey. Whereas I can wake up here, everything's in black and white. I mean, it is literally blue skies again, like it has been. It rained yesterday or the day before for a little bit, but generally. Eat my protein breakfast. Okay, that doesn't work. Check my online bank account. I can see positive cash flowing into the account. There is more money coming into the account than money leaving the account by X pounds each month. And I can tell you that that's absolutely true. 9 till 10, set an intention for the day, then choose the soundtrack for the day, an uplifting mix of songs anchored in for 10 minutes with some NLP stuff in there. And actually, I don't do that. I don't set an intention for the day because usually I'm just like, well, I'll just wake up and everything's quite smooth, quite relaxed. Write about things I'm grateful for, don't do that. Also write down over goals for the month. I do some of that. And write down 3 successes of yesterday that made a difference, don't do that. And after that, I meditate for 30 minutes. Well, that never happens. Unless you call Xbox meditation. Yeah, I meditate. 10 till 10:45, check emails, Facebook, post, respond to anything that needs sorting out, diarise everything that needs doing. Yeah, pretty much do that. That's dead on target. After that, I go to the gym, run for 40 minutes, then shower and change my first meeting in the afternoon. Now, bear in mind that this was written when I didn't live in the UK. When I did live in the UK. So I would, like, if I was living in the UK now, I would have a lot more meetings than I actually do. It's very difficult to have a meeting when you live on the coast of the Mediterranean because people don't want to get on a plane to come and see you for half an hour, I tend to find. But it's very interesting when you look back at some of the plans that you made. This is why, by the way, you should have, and I have got them here, you should have notebooks with all of your plans in, because then, and I'm just showing the camera if you're listening to a podcast, because then you can review, like I'm doing now, you can look back at a time when things were very different. Or maybe not that different, but you were on your path and you thought, wouldn't it be great to be doing this and to know what that feels like? And then when you look back at that time, you go, gosh, I'm living 75% of my life like that now. That's amazing. So it does work. Wow. What are the things I need to do for the next 5 years? And so if you've not done that, you should be doing that. You should be doing it. This is all the goal setting. You know, when you work with me, we do 15-year goals, 10-year goals, 5-year goals. We want to shove our life right further forward, and we want to see, where do we want to be? What do we want to be doing? Who do we want to be doing it with? Why do we want to be doing it? What body will we have? What health will we have? What things can we teach our kids that would be really cool? Yesterday, I taught my 4-year-old the bin juice song. I can't remember it, but the wife pulled the bag out of the bin and there was bin juice at the bottom. Nobody knows where bin juice comes from, by the way. It comes from another dimension, I think, and proof of alternate realities. But bin juice, anyway, we sang a bin juice song, which I thought was very funny, and so did my 4-year-old. My wife, however, was fairly horrified by a bin juice song. But what would you like to teach your kids that's actually useful? Anyway, so going to the gym, run for 40 minutes. I mean, actually, I'm hit and miss on that. I'm very miss on that right now. But there was a time when I was doing that, and actually I was training 3 times a day. Let's see, 12 to 1, close to the first deal of the day. A large deal that brings in upfront income and residual income as well. That doesn't happen, but then we just live off rental income anyway, generally, although we do have clients coming through, so it kind of happens sometimes, certainly not every day. After that, I eat a healthy lunch. Nah, it doesn't happen. At 2 p.m, I either do the work or instruct my well-trained, highly efficient and trusted staff to do the work for me. Well, that never happens at 2 o'clock. Like I have meetings. So like right now we've got a fabulous team. We've got a content coordinator, and we've got a graphic design team. We've got a video editing team. We've got content scheduling team for all our clients. I'm very hands off on that. I don't touch that at all. Our content coordinator deals with all of that. So my team are well trained and they do the work for me. And we're just recruiting right now again for another handyman. You can never have enough handymen, I find, because they always either turn out eventually to be rubbish because their quality of work goes down, or something happens in their life and they need to do something different. That's fine. As 5:30 rolls around, I look at going to the gym and lift weights and finish off the day with a healthy dinner. Well, like I'd say certainly the lifestyle aspect of not having to work, that came in there. So I wrote that 7 years ago. And I'd say about 60-70% of what I wrote down has actually come true. Some of the things are not the same because I don't live in the same country, like having a meeting every day and eating well and working out. But I have gone through periods where that's definitely happened. But that was the intention. And this is what happens, okay? You set an intention all that time ago for this to happen. And then when you go back and you review it and you're like, oh my gosh, 70% of it is right. And I don't think you'll get 100%. I don't generally think you'll get 100%. But it doesn't matter as long as you're getting the bulk of it. Now imagine someone who doesn't write any of that down and just lives for the day. I mean, there's a line in there. I wake up and it's sunny. Like, did I know that I was going to move overseas? Obviously, it was implanted somewhere. There's a line in there somewhere that says, I want to live overseas. And we hadn't agreed that. I'm sat on holiday at the time in Turkey, I think it was. And it might have been Egypt. And we sat around the pool and I had the iPad. And I remember writing down that perfect day. And and also life changes. So the perfect day that I wanted back then is not the same perfect day that I've got now. But what does your perfect day look like? Like, is it getting up and going to work every day? I mean, obviously, I don't know what you do. But is it getting up and going to work every day? Is it getting up and sitting in traffic every day? Or is it waking up when you want to? And by the way, this was before we had a 4-year-old. So waking up when you want actually means waking up when the 4-year-old comes and wakes you up, even on weekends, especially on weekends, I should say. And when we come in and jump on you, Daddy, when you first wake up, you're like, oh, I don't know what planet you're on. You just wake up with a shouty 4-year-old, wake up. So this is the key. Planning is like, why would you not plan? Why would you not want to build an amazing lifestyle? I don't get it. So these are the things that I think you should be planning. Plan your expenses. Like, I'm very tight on my expenses. I know where all my money goes. I'm always looking at where I can save the money. I've got budgets in place for everything. So plan your expenses first of all. Then plan what your budgets are going to be on all sorts of different things. Petrol, even now, my car's a real gas guzzler right now. And when we bought it, the exchange rate was much better because it was pre-Brexit. So gas rate, the exchange rate, we've lost about 15%. So my gas bill's gone up 15%. Okay. I say gas, I mean petrol, right? My petrol bill's gone up 15% because of the exchange rate fluctuation. All my income comes in from the UK, gets transferred into euros. I lose money on that. And then petrol prices have gone up as well. And it's like a 4.6 litre. I mean, it's a big 4x4 Jeep thing. So it's huge, right? So even now I'm looking at my spreadsheet and I'm like, that's costing me a lot of money into that. And actually, yesterday I was pricing up a Tesla. There's problems with Tesla because I live in Spain, right? Like the nearest fast charging point is in Valencia, which is an hour away. Like I can have one plugged in at home, but how the heck do I charge my car up? So we're not in America. We're not quite there yet. Otherwise, I would look at Teslas because you buy the car, there's no fuel costs, right? And then we get solar, and then the car would get charged up by solar to a good extent. Anyway, plan your expenses. continually go through your expenses and then work out what would I like my expenses to be. So let's say your expenses are $3,000 and you've got some loans, you've got some credit cards, you've got a £500 a month car bill. Great. So at what point does that car bill stop? Like, because why do you need to go get another car bill? Why is it normal for us to go out? Good morning, Joe. Why is it normal for us to go out and get a loan for a car? I've never understood that. Why is it that that's normal? And I used to think when I was 18, you would always spend between £200 and £300 every single month on a car loan to have a nice car. And like now, I'm like, why would you do that? It just doesn't make sense. My car's paid off. It doesn't cost me anything for my car right now. But why would you spend between £200 and £300 every single month on a car? It just doesn't make sense to me. You want to get your car paid off. People go, yeah, but I want to look good. Why? Like, for who? No one cares. If you drive a jalopy piece of junk, park around the corner and walk around, no one cares. I've driven a lot of junk in my time. And I used to love driving a Mazda 6 Estate. Bought it for £700. Doesn't cost any money to run. It's got acceleration, got a big boot for taking stuff to the tip. Perfect. Anyway, plan your expenses and then work out what you want your expenses to be. Plan your income. Like, work out what it is right now, and then plan what income you would like, and then plan where that income's going to come from. So if it's $2,000 a month, what is that? Is that 10 coaching clients at £200 a month? Is it 200 people at £10 a month on some membership course, membership training? What is that? Work out what that's going to be. Is it 5 properties that pay £400 a month? And if it is, by the way, you probably need 6 or 7 properties because you've got to deal with voids, right? And new boilers and that kind of thing. But you got to work out what your income is going to be and where that income is going to come from. And then the biggest thing, this is one thing that I didn't really do, and I'm still working on now because I'm not great at it. When you get to a point where you're financially free and your days, you've got time freedom, right, which is a very rare thing. Even millionaires don't have time freedom. Grant Cardone doesn't have time freedom. He can choose what to do, but he chooses to work, right? So I suppose it's time freedom. Would the company work without him? Yeah, I absolutely reckon it would. And he's planned for that. But does it work without him right now? No, not at all. And that's because he's on a mission, and that's totally fine. But what about you? What happens when you've got more income coming in when expenses going out? You don't need to work. And you go, do you know what? I'm going to take a year off. What are you going to do? Because I'll tell you, it can get really boring. I don't play golf, and maybe every so often I think maybe I should take up golf. Spend a day at a golf course, because I guess that'd be fun. I don't know. And so now we're like, okay. And actually after this, I'm going to the basketball court for an hour to go shoot hoops with a friend of mine, an English guy. And then on one of the days this week, not sure which one, I've got a triathlon bike downstairs. It's not been used for 2 years. So I'm going cycling with a different English friend. So and then also, as we get into June, by the way, on Thursdays at around 10 a.m., we're going to go paddle surfing in the Med every Thursday with some of the English dads that we know here. So we're planning all this stuff because I tell you, what happens is if you don't plan it, you end up just putting on Netflix, putting on the Xbox. You end up not doing that much. And like, if that's what you want to do, then that's great. And every so often, that is what I want to do. Sometimes I play Titanfall or Call of Duty, and I'm like, I should be at work. I should be at work. And I'm reminded I should be at work, but actually I'm playing on the Xbox. And I love that because I should be at work and I'm playing on the Xbox. It feels like I'm a little kid, like I'm off school for the day and can get to do what I want. But after a while, that gets boring, right? And is it really productive? Like, it gives me enjoyment, but is it productive? Not necessarily. So then I'll go back and I'll listen to podcasts, I'll watch videos, and I'll read, and I'll continue to educate myself. But you've got to work out, when you get there, what are you going to do? And so this is that living for today. So like next, I'm going to go play basketball. I love basketball, by the way, and I could go shoot hoops for 12 hours a day. And if that was my job every single day, and I had to do that for 12 hours a day, I would be the happiest man on the planet. Like, I would love that. Like, it's just perfect for me. Unfortunately, the body doesn't agree. The knees don't work. Good morning, Eugene. And these don't work. Like everything starts to stop working. Well, at the age of 46, it turns out. I went running with the missus last night. Goodness me, she can run. I had to stop. I was getting heart pain, so I had to stop. But you've got to plan your day. What do you want it to look like? Like you can live for today. Oh, well, I want to be spontaneous. Great, be spontaneous. And we stood there trying to work out what to be spontaneous. Oh, you could plan to go cycling, go paddle surfing, go play basketball, go play Call of Duty on Wednesdays at 10 o'clock. That's not spontaneous, but then it is actually doing what you want to do. But you've got to work out, you've got to get a list. What would your perfect day look like? It could be 5 years from now. It could be 10 years from now. It could be once you bought 20 properties, 100 properties. It could be once you've got your social media business up and running and you've got 1,000 clients all paying £500 every month. What would it all look like? And then after that, what are you going to do afterwards? Right? As we move forward, there's two risks, right, as you're growing your business. The first one is that you're going to run out of money and you're going to go bust, right? And then, thank you for the like, whoever gave me that. Eugene, thank you. So that's the first phase. You're growing your business. Your worry is you're going to run out of money and you're going to go bust, and you're looking at your spreadsheet and you get to the end of your month and go, oh, that's close. And I can't tell you the number of days where I'm down £500 at the end of the month. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna miss what do we call it? A mortgage. Some of my mortgages, by the way, we're just moving them to the start of the month, but some of them go through to the end of the month, even today actually. But going back like 5 or 10 years ago, they all went at the end of the month while I try and scrambled around to get all the money in. And I'd be minus £500 on my last day. I'm like, oh no, what am I going to do? And so that is a worry, right? Or it has been. And then, amazingly, you scramble around and you pull the £510 in, just enough to get you through. You close a client, or a tenant pays early, or whatever, right? So, like, that's your first worry. Is you're growing your business, you're continually worried that you're going to go bust. And then afterwards, when you're looking back, and this is one of the reasons why I check my bank account every single morning, and I check the spreadsheet to see what's come in, what's due to come in, are there going to be any potential problems? Like, we're lucky because we're far enough ahead now that even if 5 tenants didn't pay, we're fine, because there's enough money there to cover it, and there's enough money coming from other tenants to cover it, and it's fine. It doesn't make a difference. But I still worry about it. So the worry when you first grow in your business is you're going to run out of money, and the worry when you've got your portfolio and you're looking at your income is, I'm going to lose that, right? So this is why Grant works so hard, by the way. You know, if you listen to how he lost his dad at the age of 10 or 11, and his mum had to sell the house and all this extra stuff, this is what, if you want to know what pushes Grant Cardone, 100% right there. Gary Vee had no money when he was growing up, and his parents came over from some area of Russia with a name like Vaynerchuk. So he grew up in a certain thing, and that's what, you know, when you do your values work between 0 and 9, this is the sort of stuff that changes how you think about stuff. But you've got to make a decision as to what you're going to do when you actually get there. What do you want your life to look like? And it's fine to if you go, do you know what, Dan, I know what you're saying, and I will do paddle surfing, and I will do basketball, and I will go for bike rides, but all the other time, I'm going to work because I want double the amount. Like, wife's parents are here, they leave today, and we were talking about rents, and I was like, but if rents double in 20 years' time, over the next 20 years, all that money is mine. It's not that my mortgages increase in any way. In fact, we can just pay down the mortgages even quicker. So the difference between our rent and our mortgages keeps getting bigger, right? So, but that only happens because that's how we planned it, like 20 years ago when we first started getting into property. So do you want to live for today and just get up and go to work and not have any plans? Or do you want to plan for tomorrow, plan for your future, where you're at the point where you can go, I'm going to go paddle surfing today. Oh, I've got a busy work day today. Let's just clear all that because I'm going to take a day off. I'm going to go to the park with the dog. I'm going to go to the beach and throw a frisbee all day long. But that's what it will get you, right? But you've got to start planning. Living for today, up for it, no problem at all. There's no such thing as living for today. You've got to plan what you're going to do. That's the way that you get most out of it. And you've got to plan for your expenses, you've got to plan for your income, and then you've got to work out what are you going to do when you reach financial freedom. What's the plan then? Right, I hope that's useful for you. We'll catch up with you in tomorrow's podcast. My name's Dan Latto. Take care. Hey, it's Dan here. Thank you for listening. Really appreciate each and every one of you. Please click like or subscribe to the entire podcast.